listening to EP Culture Beat, the underground source of El Paso, Texas.
How's it going, dude? How are you?
Good, man. How are you?
Good, good. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the folks out there.
My name is Krystall Poppin. I am a rapper from El Paso, Texas.
You're currently on tour. How's that going?
Tour has been super awesome. It's been really fun working with GT Garza and his crew. They're super professional. They know exactly what they're doing, and we're learning a lot since it's my first tour, you know, me and my team's first tour. So I'm really trying to just take in the whole experience, and then hopefully real soon we're going to be doing our own tour.
Cool.
And, you know, it's going to be really cool.
So you're touring with an artist named Garza?
GT Garza, yeah.
Can
GT
you
Garza.
provide more info on this dude?
GT Garza is a rapper from Houston, Texas. He's been doing his thing for a couple years now, and he's been touring and everything like that.
Cool.
So it's not his first rodeo, and it's really cool to see it like in action.
What's been the wildest stop so far on the tour?
So far, I think it's been Liberal, Kansas, believe it or not. Liberal, Kansas is this small town in Kansas, but they get down.
Nice.
They get down at the shows,
What
and
happened?
I can't wait. It's just like, it just got jumping, man. It was packed. I learned that it was a college town. So there's a bunch of college kids there, and it was really, really fun. The promoters were really professional. They had it on lock, and I had a lot of fun there.
Nice. Is this your first tour, or have you gone on the road before?
Yeah, this is my first tour. I've been on the road. I have been on the road traveling around and doing shows here and there, but nothing actually that I would call a tour. So, yes, this is my first one.
Cool. What does that feel like?
It feels good. Like, I really feel like it's about that time for me to be on tour. You know what I mean? Me and my manager have been grinding out music, getting ourselves ready, prepared. We sold all of our stuff to like move in an RV and travel America and just kind of like build my career from the bottom up. So tour is just the next step that we got to take in order to make sure that, you know, we launch this thing.
Nice. You do get to see a lot of America on the tour. Like, what have you seen so far? Like, what has surprised you about going through America?
I'm loving like the different landscapes that I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Being from the desert, you don't see too much green, you don't see too many trees, and just it's such a drastic change going from El Paso to Atlanta, for instance, like where the whole freeway, like you can't, it's like freeway and trees everywhere, you know what I mean? So it's really cool like seeing the different landscapes, and then just the different types of people. I love meeting people, so like it's cool that I get to see like what people in New Orleans are like, and what people in Atlanta are like, and what people in Nashville are like, and every city kind of has a different vibe, and I'm just like absorbing all that, and I feel like it's helping to shape me as an artist as well. So it's really cool. It's really cool.
Cool. So you're getting inspiration as you're traveling.
Yeah,
That's
definitely,
pretty cool.
definitely.
Your current single is called F.O.M.S.
Yeah.
Or Fuck Out of My Sight.
Fuck out my sight. Yeah.
And the one before that was Timmy Tah.
Timmy Tah, yeah.
What does Timmy Tah mean?
Timmy Tah means basically like a pretty tomboy. So I grew up, you know, tomboy as a little girl. I hated wearing dresses. I loved playing outside, sports and everything, you know what I mean? Tomboy at heart. And as I started growing older, I started getting more into like the girly things, you know what I mean, like doing my makeup and my hair. And I just felt like I wasn't technically a tomboy, but I still had that like in my core. So I wanted to invent something to call those females that I feel that like grew up tomboy, but like glowed up, you know what I mean? So I came up with the word Timmy Tah for that.
Nice. Thank you for that definition. It feels like you're asserting yourself more in these recent singles.
Yeah. Well, I felt like I wrote Timmy Tah to show that like there's this, I kind of like have this colorful flavor, I feel. And I really feel like I nailed it with that song. That's something that I really, those kinds of songs are the ones I really enjoy making. Something that like people can still like have fun to, but the verses I'm really saying, like I don't waste a line in that song. Like when you're not paying attention, it sounds just like a little like bouncy bop, but I'm actually like shouting out a lot of things. I'm saying a lot of things like that are real. And then F.O.M.S, I decided to drop it after Timmy Tah because I don't feel like up until this point I haven't really shown like my skill fully, like on full blast, like volume all the way up, you know what I mean?
Or how tough you can be.
Yeah,
it's pretty tough.
Yeah, it is. And there's this like I have like two personas, I feel, and I say this in Timmy Tah. I have a persona that's Krystall Poppin and also Trigger. And Trigger is the girl that like just loves to like just rap, drop bars, and she don't care, and she just like goes, and nothing, you know what I mean? Like, it's rap queen. So I wanted to kind of show both of those sides because it's like a contrast to each other. And I do feel that that's me because I'm like a Cancer and I have a Sagittarius moon. So my Cancer kind of has me like feeling like a softie, like a big heart, like a lover. And this is my Sagittarius side, just don't care, you know, don't give a fuck about nothing, you know what I mean? And it's crazy because those two worlds are kind of like mended into one, and like that makes me. So that comes out in my music as well. And I definitely feel like I showed those both sides with these two songs.
I guess when you're making music, it's good to have contrasts, just to, I guess, not be one note all the time.
Yeah, for sure. And I definitely feel that when I approach music, I never want it to be like, oh, this song sounds like that other song. You know what I mean? Like, I try to approach every song with a different mindset, a different concept, different melody. I never really want my songs to sound the same.
Do you write all the music yourself and all the lyrics?
Yes, I wrote everything myself. Like anything that I record, I do it myself.
What do you use? What stuff do you use?
Well, if I'm not using like pencil and paper, then I'll just go into I use Ableton to record. So I'll just like throw the beat on Ableton, and then I'll press record, and I'll just start freestyling, and then I come up with some words, and then I like that line, let me like elaborate on that, and then I'll go and like type out some like start the verse from there. And I take like lots of different approaches. Sometimes I'll go for a walk, and then I'll just be like, oh, like thinking of words or lines or anything, and I'm like, oh, that's cool, and I'll just write it down. I have a notepad where I'll just like reference a bunch of one-liners that I write down and stuff. So it's like I have a bunch of different things. Like I'm constantly thinking about lines. Like, and it's just like the way I think now. So
you're just compelled.
Yeah,
like
I'm just
all
compelled,
artists.
and I'm always like, oh, I gotta write that down. I gotta say that in a song for sure.
Are these new singles leading up to a new album?
Well, these new singles technically are part of an EP called The Desert Daisy, and Desert Daisy has basically like 7 songs, I believe, on it. The approach that me and my manager decided to take was releasing them individually instead of as one project at once. So they're technically still under the catalog, but they're all going to be coming out one by one.
Nice.
Yeah.
Your debut album, Starstruck, was released in 2016.
Yeah.
What was that experience like, and how did it come together?
It was a really, really cool experience. Everyone that worked with me on that was from El Paso.
Nice.
So that was really cool. The producers, the engineers, the artwork, everybody that basically, like, the way that it came together, everyone from El Paso. So I really love that. And it was fun. It was like my first, before that I hadn't had a project before that. And it really showed me a lot. It was kind of like, I call it like my music college, you know what I mean? Like that, it really taught me like how to work with people. Because before that, it was just me by myself in the studio doing what I knew how to do. But the album really showed me how to collaborate, work with people, other producers, how to write quickly. Yeah, it was just like, it was a lot. And then we crunched the whole thing. I believe it was like 2 months to like start and finish. I had been writing the songs for about a year, but when it came down to like going into the studio, recording them, getting everything pressed, put together, prepping for the album release party, that was like crunched down to like 2 months, 2-3 months, something like that. Wow. So it was hectic, and it was a lot of hard work, and a lot of good things came out of that. So that was a really cool project.
That's cool. You're kind of throwing yourself into the fire for that project.
Yeah, head first, for sure. Yeah, I didn't really know what was going to go into it, but I knew I was willing to learn, and wherever I slipped, I would get back up and, you know, learn from my falls and keep going, and I did.
You said that before you just like to work by yourself. Was it weird to get used to a second or third or fourth opinion?
That's something that artists struggle with. You know, kind of like inviting another idea, because you feel like, well, I'm the artist, like I need to do my ideas and I don't want to change this. But being in that setting, I learned that if I wasn't able to invite ideas and kind of like collaborate on other things that I wasn't used to, then I wasn't going to learn or grow as an artist myself. And I always want to grow and I always want to learn.
We're good, thank you. For those of you listening, we're at DTF bar, right?
DTF bar.
I assume it's down to fuck bar.
It's
Down to what?
Double the fun. Double the fun.
Oh shit! Edit that. It's
Ooh.
double the fun
It's
bar.
double the fun bar.
Where's my mind at?
So yeah, collaborating with people. I learned how to collaborate with people on that album for sure, and it helped me down throughout all these other years, like learning that like really carried over for sure.
You released a single called Glitter and Gold in 2015, and I found a YouTube video of a song called Supernova from 2013.
Yeah.
Is that when you decided to pursue music seriously?
Supernova, yes. That was the first like real single that was the first single I went into like a real studio to record. That was the first video, like actual production that I had put together.
Nice.
It was a cool song. A lot of people like that song. So it was like fun. And it's crazy because I feel like you can kind of see Supernova, and if you look at Timmy Tah, they kind of have like this same flavor, you know what I mean? A connective tissue. Perfect. Yeah. Yes. Like when I noticed that, I was like, yo, like I'm really evolving, but still keeping my roots in a way. You know what I mean? So that's really cool. Supernova definitely is the first presentation of who Krystall Poppin is, for sure.
What got you into rapping and becoming a hip hop artist?
Well, I grew up writing rhymes, poetry, stuff like that. Just journal entries. You know, I would do that a lot. As I grew up, and like becoming a teenager and life getting a little more hectic, and me thinking that it's the world. Hello, what's your name?
Thank you.
Too Fresh. Oh, Joe Fresh. We're doing a podcast right now. Awesome. Thank you, man.
Joe Fresh just brought us some water.
Just brought us some water, guys.
You guys need anything? I'm inside, right?
Okay, thank you. Appreciate you.
Very nice feathers.
So I got into rapping. So I was even in elementary school writing poetry, rhymes, putting things together like that, journal entries and stuff. As I started growing older, becoming a teenager, and feeling like the world's against me, you know, people, my rhymes started getting more aggressive. And that's where I feel like that's kind of like where Trigger stems from. You know what I mean? Like this really pissed off teenager that like felt like everything was unfair. I did go through a lot as a teenager, personally and like socially as well. So that really reflected in my rhymes. And once I graduated high school, I started going out to parties and stuff. And at these parties, people would like do cipher circles. You know what I mean? They're like speeding their rhymes and stuff.
Cool.
And so one day I got the courage and I was like, I jumped in a circle and I threw one of my rhymes out and everyone was like, oh. And I was like, cool. And then I was walking away and then one of the guys from the circle was like, yo, do you rap? Do you make music? And I was just like, nah, man, I don't. Like, I just wrote that, you know what I mean?
Do words.
I just words. And he was like, yo, me and my homies, we got studio equipment. Let's record your first song. Like let's do it. Whatever you did out there, let's do that. And I was just like, all right, cool, I'm down. And then we ended up having a little session in my bedroom, and we created my first song. There were some songs before Supernova. They're not up anymore, though. But yeah, the first song, like as soon as I heard the first song through the headphones, like it was game over. Like I knew I fell in instant love with music and creating music and making songs at that moment. And I've been making music ever since.
It's good when you have that epiphany, right?
Yeah. Oh, and it was crazy because at that time, I didn't know what to do. You know, I didn't know what I wanted to be. Like, the people were like pressuring me. Like, my family was like, what are you going to do? Like, I kept like, I didn't know. You know, I was lost. I was super lost, and nothing like caught my interest. Nothing felt right. You know, I was like, maybe I want to be a nurse, and like that didn't feel right. And then I was like, maybe I want to be a teacher, and like it just never clicked for me. And I was getting a little worried because I'm like 18 and I need to have my life figured out. You know what I mean? Yeah. And music just kind of found me. You know what I mean? And once it did, like it's nonstop.
You've done a few collabs, like with Tommy Noor in 2018. Mm-hmm. How important is it for hip-hop artists to collab? Because it seems like people are guesting on each other's stuff locally a lot more.
I feel like it is extremely important to collaborate. And I say that because there's so much you can learn from collaborations. I have my style of writing, creating, producing, and stuff. Once I started collaborating with others, for instance, with Tommy, he's a singer. His techniques, I guess, like his approach to music is totally different, and I learned a lot from that too, so that was cool. And I'm sure he learned a lot from me as well, because I also showed him things the way that I do things. It's a great learning experience when you can professionally collaborate with others, and there's a way to do it. Like, people think that when you collaborate, it's because a bunch of people who you don't like their music that want to work with you, but it's not always the case. Like, sometimes someone else might have something really dope that you do want to jump on and you do want to make. So Tommy's song, when he presented it to me, I was like, that's dope. Like, I would love to be on that song for sure. So
cool. That's
how that whole thing happened. DS Jr. ended up shooting the video. It came out really dope. And yeah, it was like, it was a really cool experience.
What do you have planned next?
I'm going to get through this tour and learn everything that I can.
Yeah.
That way, once it's over, I want to start preparing for my own personal tour where I'm headlining. I have openers as well. I'm going to be working on another project as well with a few people in Atlanta, a few people in Nashville. I'm staying around that area a lot more. After that, you know, it's just gonna keep going. It's just gonna be shows all the time, interviews, photo shoots, creating content, putting out content, meeting fans, merchandise. Like, the bus never stops. So, output. That's what it is. Grind.
You said that you guys dropped everything and bought a RV?
Yeah, we did.
What's the RV life like?
The RV life is crazy. Like, it's definitely, I can see how it's not for everybody. But it's cool because I feel like you got to be a certain type of person to live full-time in it, and I'm definitely that person. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be willing to live minimally. You got to be willing to sometimes be without, and you got to be willing to put up and deal with problems, situations that present themselves, and to deal with these situations accordingly, so that way the bus can keep going. And I definitely feel that me and my manager are a great team. And he's the one that takes care of like the mechanics, like stuff that deals with the RV, you know, stuff like the ceiling when it leaks, or like something happens to the tires and electrical something. He's the one that takes care of that. I'm the one that makes sure that we're always fed, making sure that there's food in the fridge, making sure that it's clean up in there, you know what I mean? Like, because it's a small space, so it gets dirty really fast. So I'm always like staying on top of it, because if you're not, like, you're going to live in a pigsty. Like, I'm going to say that right now. Like, it's not easy. Like, you can have breakfast. Just having breakfast is such a big mess, you know what I mean? So it's hectic. It's hectic in there, but I feel like I'm so used to it now. I've been in it for a year. I feel like it's home. Nice. You know what I mean? Like, it's my home. And my backyard changes all the time, and I love that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Is he your manager?
He's my manager. DS Jr., what's up? Come over here.
He's been chilling.
Chilling.
Watching the proceedings. Do you want to say something? Add a little something real quick?
Just hanging out in my spot behind the camera, you know?
Yeah, so D, I really do feel that D is like the mastermind, and I'm like his like baby project thing, you know what I mean? Like, he's the one that makes sure that there's gas and that everything looks great and that I'm on point, you know what I mean? And that everything's going smoothly. Like, he takes care of life, so that way I can take care of the music. And it's a perfect like union that we have created. It's a really cool team here.
Do you want to add something, buddy?
Just what she was saying, she's totally right. It's not easy, and you know, every time we run into problems and little like obstacles and things like that, events that we're not expecting, and we run into, it can be very hard on you, like on your spirit, you know what I mean? Because you know, people think we're out here just like having fun every day and everything's going good. And we run into like financial dilemmas, or we run into mechanical dilemmas.
Even parking can be a problem, like a huge problem. Yeah.
And then when it comes to the music, it also has its drawbacks, and we always have to make sure we're just staying ahead or working around, because you know, we might be dealing with a person that we believe is gonna be able to help us in a certain way, and then it turns out they some type of like shady person, or they don't come through, or you know what I mean? Like, one of the biggest things that people don't realize is that we're dealing with people every day, you know what I mean? And different people every day, people that we don't know, and that's how the business is, the industry. And you're gonna deal with people that are gonna turn out not to be what you expected, and you gotta be ready as well socially to be able to handle those situations where that don't really go the way that you're expecting, you know what I mean? So you
gotta stay on your toes.
Exactly. Everybody has their own interests, and they're not always the same interest as yours. So you just gotta make sure, you know, like everybody wants something.
Yeah.
And if it's something that doesn't line up with what you want, it can get like things can go south really fast. You know what I mean?
Damn. Thank you. Thank you for those words. That's real. That's as real as you can
Big
get.
D. Big D in the house.
Do you have any advice for those getting into pursuing music?
Yes. Work your ass off, man. Work your ass off. Wake
Yeah.
up every day. You need to eat, sleep, breathe shit, your content. And you need to be dope. Like, at the end of the day, you can create all this content, and if it's crap, then it's not going to go very far. Unless you're a hard worker. You know what I mean? But it's always cool when you create cool shit. So I highly recommend that you hone in on your skills, sharpen your skills, and just make sure that you're creating the best content that you can.
Right.
And work hard every day. Pursue it every day. Because it's super easy to slack it. So easy to slack it. So easy to procrastinate. So easy not to write. But if you dedicate yourself, it can happen. And I can see it. Like, I am proof. I've seen proof. I'm in the middle of it, and it's a dream come true, honestly.
Procrastination is the enemy, kids.
Yes, procrastination is the enemy. Work your ass off.
Where on the interweb can people find you and your music?
You can find me on my website, which is krystallpoppin.com.
Mm-hmm.
I keep a lot of updates, merchandise, everything that's Krystall Poppin going on there. I work mostly off of my Instagram, which is at Krystall Poppin. I also have Facebook, Twitter. You can find my music on Spotify, Apple Music, all music platforms basically. Google Music, all that. I'm not hard to find, but you can, if you Google it, if you can't find me, if you don't know how to spell my name, like, it's with a K and 2 L's, don't forget. And yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Is there a apostrophe at the end of Poppin?
No apostrophe. This is hip hop. No G. Oh yeah, people put like popping,
Oh,
like
no,
with a
does
G.
it lead somewhere else?
Oh, no.
We ask this question of everybody that comes on the show, especially if they're local.
Yeah.
How does El Paso inspire you?
El Paso inspires me. I feel like El Paso is in the heart of everything I do. I remember before I had left El Paso, and I was still working my job. I was working in a salon before I left, and I was just cruising I-10, and like my heart, I was just looking at like Juarez on UTEP, you know. So I would just go on long cruises and like listen to music.
Yeah.
And like my heart was just filling up, and it was just like getting all warm and fuzzy because I was like, yo, like I love my city. Like, I love it here, and my whole family's here. Like, all my friends are here. All my favorite restaurants are here. Like, you know, like all my favorite things are in El Paso, and it was really hard for me to leave, actually. But I'm happy I did because I can bring it back. And I can't wait for the day that I can give back to the city. You know what I mean? I can't do it right now, but it is definitely one of my biggest goals to give back to the city because I love it, and it has shaped me into the person I am today. And the reason that I'm calling my EP The Desert Daisy is because that's what I refer to myself as. Mm-hmm. Because I feel like a daisy in the desert, people think it's just a weed. They get rid of them. It's an ugly plant, right? Mm-hmm. But whenever I walk around the desert, I used to pick those daisies and like kind of like keep them, put them in a book, like in my hair. I thought they were so beautiful. And I would think like desert daisies have to work twice as hard to be noticed and to be recognized as something beautiful because of such the harsh area that it grows from, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel that's me. I feel like I grew from a harsh area in the desert, but something beautiful can come out of it. And that's what I want to put forward. I want to create beautiful art. Whether it's aggressive or not, it still can be beautiful. And that's the heart of me and of El Paso. So, yeah.
Anything else that you'd like to add?
Don't be afraid to do what you want and do what you love, no matter what it is. Because the only reason you aren't doing what you love or you don't have what you want is because of you and no one else. And I've been put to the test so many times, and God has given things to me, and God has taken so much away to teach me lessons, to show me that I'm strong enough to do and have what I want to do and want to have. So anything is possible, and don't think that the outside world can stop you, because the only person that can stop you is you.
Awesome. All right, quick random questions.
Yes.
Favorite color?
Yellow.
Why?
Yellow. I just, when I was super young, like, I remember being like maybe 5 and like saying like, oh, I want, my favorite color is yellow. As long as I can remember, I'd always say yellow. And they thought it was cool because like not a lot of kids like yellow, I guess. So I thought I love yellow, man. Yellow's my favorite color.
Favorite El Paso restaurant?
It's called Mundos, and it's on Donovan on the west side. And they have, aside from my grandmother and my mother's menudo, they have the best menudo in town. And I love, like, all their food is so dope. Their Mexican food. It's a Mexican spot, by the way. But yeah, Mundos.
Thanks for being on the show, dude.
Oh, thank you for having me, man. For sure, it was fun. Thank you.
And now, check out this track from Krystall Poppin.
Standing in line, give me the money on drop of the dime. Currently hurting, you know they can't fuck on my grind. Mind of the mind and they think we alive. Fuck on my side, bitches be talking but can't even speak. Even the dead don't be sleeping on me. All on my wrist, yeah, I know a weapon. She ain't no Taylor Swift, but she hitting the lips. Cloudy the smoke, all in my vision. No competition, I'm a mortician. Make up and body these hoes. 21-6, how it goes. Frozen the gold. Where did you go? Little fucked up as I head for the dough. So cold, blood in my soul, shooting to the dome. Hitting them in the fucking flow.
Hitting the flow, hitting the flow. Hitting the flow. Where did you go, bitch? I am so cold. What do you know? Oh, I am so cold. What do you know?
They be like,
what? Is it poppin'? Yeah, bitch. Poppin'. KP. Trigger. Lil Timmy Tah. What's up?
these pigeons ain't nothing but chickens. I'll fry 'em up, still in my soft nugget bitches. I'm clipping they tickets, no entry admission. Hoes rapping about licking that stanky straight kittens. Flow fresh like some linen, on lock like some prison. I'm chilling how I'm living, bitch, I'm never tripping. I'm peachy like I'm Nixon, and they cannot see like they German. Damn, sleeping on me like their mama's comma. I'm a Spanish bitch, but I speak in dollars. Can't step to me like the ground is lava. I'm the astro realm rapping Dalai Lama. I'm cold-blooded, I'm a holy guana. Got the best tacos down in Tijuana. Can't say the same about the marijuana, but the plug coolie from Nicaragua. Damn. They said I was on by a string. They said I was needing a hand. They said I was looking the same, but that shit ain't part of the plan. Bitch, popping bright candlelight. Trigger blow dynamite. Make it quick overnight. Get the fuck out my sight.
That's the end of the show. Thank you for listening. You can find this podcast on Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, TuneIn, and Buzzsprout. Tap that subscribe button. Live long and prosper.